Hi, this is Chris from Key West Health and Beauty, and today we're going to be making a homemade sugar scrub. And what's nice about the recipe we're going to make today is that we're going to be using shea butter, which is going to make it extremely moisturizing. With traditional sugar scrubs, you have to apply, exfoliate, and then apply a moisturizer after you're all done. With this one, you won't need the moisturizer because the shea butter is so moisturizing that you can just use a sugar scrub, and when you're all finished and you rinse, your skin will be soft and moisturized. So you'll skip a step, save some time and money. So what you're going to need to do this is you're going to need, of course, 4 ounces or half a cup of raw or unrefined organic shea butter. And if you don't already have shea butter, we'll put a link underneath this video where you can check our brand out. We sell exclusively on Amazon, and we are one of the very few sellers that are actually USDA organic certified, so you know it really is organic shea butter. And then you're also going to need 3 tablespoons of a base oil, which you can use either a jojoba or an olive oil. We'll be using olive oil today. You'll need 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. You'll need a half cup of either brown or regular white sugar. Either one will work the same. The brown sugar just gives it a nicer color. If you do use the brown sugar, make sure you get the soft kind, not the hard, thick brown sugar, or it won't mix well. You'll also need a double boiler, and if you don't have a double boiler, don't worry about that. We're going to show you today how to make your own with just a couple of containers or pots and pans you may have in your kitchen. Then you'll need, of course, an 8-ounce container to put it in. And we've also included essential oil in our recipe. Now that's optional. If you want to give it an added scent, then you can just choose your favorite essential oil of choice and put about 10 to 20 drops in there, but that step's optional. It's nice even if you don't use that, but if you want, you can add that in. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to put your 4 ounces of raw shea butter in your double boiler. You don't have to necessarily have a double boiler, as we mentioned earlier. You can create one at home like we've done here. Basically, you just don't want your shea butter under direct heat. So you can just take a pan and fill it about halfway with water and heat that water to a boil, and then put a second container or pan over the top of that with your shea butter so that the steam from the boiling water slowly melts the shea butter and the direct heat doesn't damage it. So we have been boiling this for a couple of minutes now, and it's almost ready. So when it's ready, we will take you to the next step. Okay, so we have completely melted our shea butter into liquid, and we did have to stir that a couple of times to get the lumps out. You want to make sure it's completely melted. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this into our mixing bowl. And once we've poured all of that in, now what we're going to do is we're going to actually put this in the refrigerator, and we're going to let it cool for a couple of hours. And basically what you want is you just want it to firm up a little bit for mixing. You don't want it to get hard again. You just want it the consistency of like a soft, really soft butter. So we're going to put that in for a couple of hours, and then we'll be back to finish up. Okay, so we have refrigerated this. It took about an hour and a half, so it depends on your refrigerator, but it could take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. So what you're looking for is you want the consistency to be firm or creamy all the way to the bottom. So if you stick a spoon in here and there's any liquid between the top and the bottom, it's not ready yet. So we've got the consistency, the smooth consistency that we want, so we're now ready to mix. So all you're going to do is put this in your mixer, and once you've got that set, you're going to turn it on high, and you're going to mix it on high for about 5 minutes or until it turns into that whipped butter. You definitely will recognize it when it's ready. So we're all finished mixing, and one thing I forgot to mention before we started mixing was that you're going to want to stop this about every 1.5 to 2 minutes, because what's going to happen is the shea butter is going to start to gather on the sides, the upper sides, and also on the very bottom, and won't mix well. So just take a spoon about every 1.5 to 2 minutes and kind of push that, scrape that shea butter down off the sides and off the bottom, and keep it mixed so that all of it gets wet. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to combine our oils. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 3 tablespoons of coconut oil and you're going to go back to your double boiler just like we did with the shea butter, and you're going to completely melt that. And for the sake of time, we've gone ahead and done this, so our coconut oil is completely liquid and ready to go. And we've also got our olive oil ready, and if you choose that you want to make your sugar scrub a scented scrub, then this is the point where you're going to add that essential oil in. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 20 drops usually will suffice. So we're going to add those now, and we're going to put this on high speed and start mixing. And while we're mixing, we're going to pour these in. We're going to add a little bit of citrus essential oil to give us a citrus sugar scrub, which is really nice. So that's what we're going to do now, and we're going to add these in, and we're going to mix for about 2 more minutes, and then we'll be ready for the final step. So let's get started. Okay, so we're all done mixing, and there were a couple of things that I forgot to mention before you started mixing. During the process, when you first add the oils and start mixing, your whipped shea butter is going to turn back into liquid, so don't panic, that's normal. But periodically, about every 1.5 to 2 minutes while you're mixing, you'll notice the shea butter will start to thicken and gather up on the sides. So you'll need to take a spoon and scrape that down so that it gets into the mixer and mixes completely. So after a few minutes, you'll be back to the consistency of your shea butter, just a little bit more liquidy. But that's where we're at now, so let me show you what that looks like. This kind of looks like a little bit of a cake batter consistency here. And so now we're ready for the final step, which is adding the sugar. So whether you're using brown or white sugar, just pour it in there, and you want to put it back into your mixer. But this time, whereas we've been mixing on high, we're just going to mix on low. So take it to your low speed. And basically all you're doing is combining it here, and it shouldn't take more than about 30 seconds just to get it good and mixed. And now that we've done that, we'll show you what the final product looks like. And that's it. So it's really nice, very nice sugar scrub. Like we said, very exfoliating, and you won't need to moisturize afterwards. And the brown sugar, as you can see here, gives it a really nice color. So you're ready to put it in your container and get started. So the last tip we would give you is, if you're going to be using this in the shower, consider what container you're putting it in. You might want to find a plastic container instead of glass so it doesn't shatter if you drop it. But other than that, you're all set to go. So enjoy, and thanks for watching.